Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we will be going through my top 6 winning trades for the month of June.
So I'll just be taking you guys through the thought process and everything that I actually used in order to get these trades. Obviously using my strategy called QM patterns. So the first trade that I took this month is the V10-1S1. I shared it on my free Telegram group. Please do check it out at Owami Trades. You can also check out analysis as well on TikTok at Owami Trades. So what I first saw here is that when most of the time I first start on the daily, just look at what the market is doing, what has happened in the past and stuff like that. I realized that this zone right there, I first spotted out this order block. See, realize that the market is entering an area which is an order block. Drop down to my lower time frame, 8 hour. 8 hour is still a big time frame, and 8 hour. Saw that previously there was this QM pattern right there. If you can see it, this is a QM pattern, you see right there. But in June, this is where price was currently. So I was looking, because I had already missed this entry, because this would be someone else's first entry right there. They would sell at that spot, but I had already missed this QM touch. But I realized that the market was already also going back up there. So what I did was I noticed that we also have another QM pattern. As you can see there, break of structure, change of character, price entering back at the zone. This right there was my entry points, and that's when I started selling. Before selling, as I always mention, another thing that you should always look out for when trading your QM patterns is you need to find what is called divergence. So most of the time the divergence can either happen right there, you'd spot it right there, or it can happen between this high and that one there, or sometimes it will happen on its own right there. Since I'm trading this QM there, 4 hour, I check, I don't see any divergence. Okay, we do have some there a bit, as you can see, a bit there, but it wasn't too clear. So I'd keep on changing time frames to look for my divergence. And as you can see right there, I found my divergence. Now it's more clear. As you can see, price is making higher highs whilst the AO is making lower lows. Once I found that confirmation, I waited for price to tap into the zone. I didn't jump in blindly as soon as it tapped in there. I used my other methods to actually find an entry. So that's how we got that trade right there. Another trade that I took this month was V25. So when we go to V25, you see right there, that's the QM trade that I took. So as I've mentioned before, first thing I do is I check on my daily to see what is going on, what's happening. So as you can see right there, we have a bullish engulfing. You see, we have that last green candle, this candle there, not a bullish, sorry, a bearish engulfing. So as soon as I spotted that bearish engulfing, I realized that price also had created this QM pattern right there. Break of structure, change of character, right there, as you can see right there. And then that was my QM zone. Another thing, as I've said, before you enter your QM pattern, you need to find your divergence. As you can see, from there to there, price is going higher, but from here to here on the AO, it's going lower. So from there, I entered my QM pattern right there. But as I've said before, I did not just enter sniper entry trade or something like that. I first waited for my lower pattern confirmations to actually enter this trade, and other pattern confirmations that I normally use, and I showed my students on how to enter as soon as the price gets onto your QM zone. So that's the other QM pattern trade that I took this month. That, as you can see, it was big profits. And normally when I do enter my QM trades, um I would enter probably not sniper, sometimes the sniper, it depends. Maybe if I entered right there, my stop loss would be there above the head. But it also depends, sometimes I put it above the head if I know that the TP is going to be big and my win to like my ratio is gonna be bigger. If the TP was gonna be there, I don't mind putting the stop loss there. But if the TP, for example, is gonna be at that zone, sometimes I put it at the next zone. I won't let the stop loss be that high. I'd find a different, like FVG or something there to actually put the stop loss, so my stop loss will be lower and not as high as that one. So that's how I put my stops and TPs. The next trade that I took this month was for V51S. So for this one here, it was a trade that I found on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, as you can see, we have a break of structure and a change of character. As you see that, and then from there we have this whole zone, the QM zone. Another thing, you can't enter if you can't find a divergence. As you can see here, we have what is called hidden divergence. So I've shared in my previous videos the two different types of divergence: hidden divergence and regular divergence. And in this case, we have hidden divergence. So that was the trade, but because it's a daily time frame and all those things, you can't just enter on a daily time frame unless you have a big account and stuff like that. So you have to drop down to lower time frames and try find other things in order to enter this trade. So I would normally, if it's a daily time frame and but the price is already at my zone, I wouldn't just enter. I'd probably look for another QM around there in order to enter. So how I entered this trade was, as you can see, I dropped down to my 30 minutes because I'm not gonna enter a trade on a daily. You see right there, I found myself another QM and I ended up entering right there. Another trade I took for the month was this one. I shared this on my Telegram as well. So the first thing I noticed on V50 was I saw a trend line, as you can see right there. And when I saw this trend line, I then checked out the daily as well to see what was going on there. The daily as well, as you can see, I can see that this is a resistance zone that's been tested multiple times. And when a resistance is tested multiple times, most of the time it ends up being broken, it becomes weak. So same as here, this resistance became weak, hence why this price broke out of it, and that's why I actually had some bit of confident in taking this trade. So this was right here is a continuation QM pattern, as you can see. So that was a high, that was the low, got the zone right there. And then to find your divergence, as you know, you check your AO. Don't remember which time frame I found this there, so I'm just gonna keep checking. But when it comes to your divergence, you can just keep on going through different time frames to find your divergence. It doesn't always have to be a higher time frame. So as you can see right there, so as I've said before, sometimes you won't find your divergence between there or between there. Sometimes you'll find it at the zone where you're anticipating to enter. So as you can see, I found my divergence right there. The AO kept on going higher whilst those prices were still going down, hence why yeah, so basically that's how I got this trade right there. Another trade that I got was for V51S. So as you can see, with most of my trades, because of the strategy I use QM patterns, most of these trades are taken on a high time frame. So six trades, like six good trades in a month is already like a lot of profit, and it's already like a good month, because as you can see, these are like 4 hour time frame, 8 hour time frames. It's not 30 minutes where it's in and out. It's all about patience and holding for long. And the strategy works for me because I'm able to hold for long and stuff. Okay, we've already gone through that one. Another trade that we took this month was this one right there. So this one was a bit of a hidden QM pattern, but with experience and training your eyes, you will be able to see these QM patterns over time. So I saw this QM pattern, higher highs, higher lows, and then my zone right there, that was the zone you see right there. And then in order to check this trade, as you know, I always check my higher time frames. On the daily time frame, I found this order block right there, also bearish engulfing. So I knew that price would come back there, and if it comes back there, I'm most likely looking for selling opportunities. And as soon as price got back there, that's where I placed my QM entry. But before I start selling from here, I first have to confirm that this is actually gonna go down. And how do I do that? I have to check my AO. So this is the QM zone. This is where I took my trade right there. As you can see, price is making higher highs, AO making lower lows, and that's the confirmation I needed. And from there, as I've said it before, I don't enter blindly. I do have a checklist of what I do when the price gets to my QM zone in order for me to be confident of selling that trade. So basically, those are the 6 top trades that I took this month. I obviously do get losses here and there, but they're not a lot of losses because I am not all QM patterns are gonna respect the pattern, but because I have a checklist before I even enter that trade, it helps me reduce the losses and be on the winning ratio. So thank you so much for watching. Do make sure to check out my Telegram at Wami Trades, TikTok at Wami Trades, and on TikTok and on Telegram as well. Do DM me if you have any questions or inquiries about the strategy. I'm free to help. So please do like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be answering your questions on the comment section, and thank you so much.